Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Call this meeting of the Bernalillo County Water Utility to order for February 26, 2020. All members are present. We're going to begin with an invocation, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice President Pena. Thank you. It takes us to item 3, which is the approval of minutes. I move approval of the December 4th, 2019 minutes. Seconds, a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The motion carries. Go to item 4, which is proclamations and awards. These are the quarterly employee incentive awards. And so if the employee is here to receive the award, if you would please come forward when your name is called. And I'm going to do my best to pronounce these names accurately. First person is Kenneth Lip. E. Did I already mess it up? Is it Lipe? Okay, well, so I didn't want to give you a lot of lip. Kenneth is, geez, that's terrible. Kenneth is recognized, $200 plus 8 hours. Kenneth is recognized for making innovative no-cost improvements to screening technology at the South Side Water Reclamation Plant, saving the utility approximately $4,500. Thank you. And then followed by Stephen Gonzalez, $100. Mr. Gonzalez is recognized for contributions to a water authority initiative to provide emergency water to the Navajo community of Dohajali last summer. Stephen, are you? No, okay. Followed by Ron Montano, John Apt, Christina Romero, and Ross Hurley, $150 each. These individuals are recognized for their innovative solutions to a power supply problem at the Southside Water Reclamation Plant, which eliminated a costly diesel generator and is expected to save the utility approximately $83,000 per year. Next, we have Martin Ortiz, Edward Chavez, Christopher Aguilar, Richard Garcia, and Archie Mares, $150 each. These individuals are recognized for their effective response on October 21st, 2019 to an illicit discharge into the sewer collection system that threatened to disrupt the sewage treatment process and could have led to serious permit violations if not handled with speed and skill.
Senor.
Next is Emerson Silva, $150. Emerson is recognized for volunteering to do a thorough site survey to identify water authority assets ahead of planned road improvement work on Lavera Drive.
Thank you, sir.
Heidi Hilland, $150. Heidi is recognized for her willingness to always take on additional tasks to assist her water authority colleagues. Followed by Lisa Carrion. Lisa is recognized for organizing a successful holiday fundraising drive for the Joy Junction Homeless Service Center located near the Southside Water Reclamation Plant. Ruben Martinez, $200 plus 8 hours, $200. Ruben is recognized for identifying improvements to the procurement process for hydraulic flow control valves, saving the utility about $3,900 in replacement costs per valve. Next, we have Jeremy Anderson, $200 plus 8 hours. Jeremy is recognized for identifying $70,000 in cost savings for planned improvements to the Gregos pump station. John Lovato is next, $150. John is recognized for identifying deficiencies in the electrical system at the Kiva pump station, leading to safety improvements. Next, we have Ronnie Lovato. Ronnie is recognized for leading the way on operational improvements at the Southside Water Reclamation Plant that have led to an unprecedented increase in the number of assets in service and available for operations, saving thousands for the water utility. Next, we have Jose Trevino, 150. Jose is recognized for his innovation and efficiency in operation of the utility's sodium hypochlorite generating systems. Next, we have Lyman Waller for $150. Lyman is recognized for going above and beyond and keeping the Southside Water Reclamation Plant at the best possible efficiency during the ongoing and extensive rehabilitation construction projects at the plant. Next, we have John Evia and Ivan Cortez. These $150 each. These individuals are recognized for their excellent input and participation in the Water Authority SCADA master plan project, saving thousands. And then next is Charles Lee, $225 plus 8 hours. Charles is recognized for his leadership in responding to a power failure at the Southside Water Reclamation Plant and continued electrical work, saving over $50,000. Next, we have Angelo Martinez, $150. Angelo Martinez is recognized for leadership in identifying an opportunity to piggyback water line installation with a sewer line relocation project, saving the cost of the additional excavation and saving South Valley residents from having to endure 2 separate construction projects. Then we have Kathy Leonard, $150. Kathy is recognized for the improvement she had made to Utilities' annual safety picnic and for her leadership for organizing it. Then we have Larry Larson, Amy Ashton, Richard Ortiz, and Marlon Luna, $150 each. These individuals are recognized for going above and beyond in taking on the job of rehabbing of the cogeneration cooling towers and other equipment at the Southside Water Reclamation Plant rather than outsourcing the work. Thank you all very much for your excellent work. And we'd really be honored if you could come up and shake our hands. I want to thank our Luz Carrion for, I know she puts all these things together, so thank you, Luz. Okay, I'm going to move up. Let's see, there's a item 10A and 10B. Do I need to have I just move it up, or do I need to? It says on my notes, move up item 10A and 10B. Okay, so that's okay? All right. And that is, where is 10A and 10B? Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to go next to item 10A. This is the election of officers, and we begin with the election of chair, and I call for nominations for the chair position. Are there any nominations for the chair?
Madam Chair, I nominate Councilor Clarissa Pena for chair.
Okay, are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, being none, no others. There's a nomination. I don't think it requires a second, but sometimes it doesn't. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The motion carries. Thank you. And then congratulations, I think. So the other is for the nomination of the vice chair. Are there any nominations?
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Vice Chair O'Malley. Chair O'Malley to be Vice Chair of the Water Authority. Okay. I figured since we've got this leadership in place, we'll just keep it. We'll just switch it.
Keep circle. rotating it, I guess. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm very, very honored. So we have a motion to nominate me as vice chair. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. And the motion carries, and thank you all very much. I'm very honored. Okay, so this is this is kind of funny. We're going to recognize one another as she's. So I'm going to present you with an award. Well, actually, it's a gift box. There's something in it, and I kind of got a guess. So I want to thank you for your service as vice chair, Councilor Peña.
Well, on behalf of this board, we want to thank you for your service as chair.
Gee, thanks. Okay, thank you all very much. All
Thank
right,
you.
that moves us on to item 10B, which is the conservation report. Carlos Bustos. Welcome.
It's doable. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh. Not like the last, this first one. Okay, it's missing. Chair, all under recycling, you could just recycle them for next year. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the board. Per capita usage hit its lowest to date with 121 GBCD. We made the news, so it was a great year for Albuquerque. It is good to see this trend in a year where we had a below average rainfall and above average temperatures, right when landscapes and outdoor usage typically increases, which is in the hottest part of the irrigation season. Total supply was 700 million gallons fewer than 2018. Approximately household customers, which include single-family residential and multifamily usage, saved 300 million gallons, and another 400 million gallons were saved by industrial, institutional, and commercial and irrigation-only accounts. So we're moving closer to the 110 GBCD goal by promoting and emphasizing and incentivizing sound irrigation best management practices. The Xeriscape program alone incentivized 450,000 square feet of high water use turf converted to desert-friendly landscapes. That's huge. Most of our customers participate, or a lot of our customers participated in other rebates as well. So we incentivized almost $700,000 in rebates alone in 2019. That's our customers investing in the future. They're partaking in the building resiliency, not only indoors as proven, but also outdoors. So we continue to work with our customers. Xeriscape program alone, we're starting to see savings around 30 to 45% for all the conversions. A lot of it is happening because we're improving outdated irrigation systems out in our community. A lot of commercial sites, as well as our distribution system, also have aging systems. So we're incentivizing, targeting sites that were built 30, 40 years ago, so we can help those needed improvements and improve irrigation practices here in Albuquerque. So at the same time, we're spearheading funding to add more trees to the region by incentivizing customers to choose the right tree and to take care of existing trees. In 2019 alone, customers added another 1,000 trees to Albuquerque. We also continue the partnership with the city and the county. We're incentivizing about 350 trees that are going directly to common areas that we all use in city and county parks. And we're doing all this while emphasizing education and less enforcement. Last year, our department issued 723 warnings that resulted in only 77 violations. This is a humongous success. In the past, we used to issue between 500 and 1,000 violations every year. So moving and learning how to work with our customers, and instead of issuing a violation, now we offer irrigation consultation. So it gives us the opportunity to provide a good customer service, but also to help our customers understand how to manage their own systems so they can avoid future warnings or violations. That's all I got for today.
Well, thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions? No, thanks for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now on item 5, public comment. Luz, do you, how many people do we have signed up to speak?
We have 2 speakers,
Okay, if you call up the first.
Elaine Hebert, followed by Geraldine Amaro.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, new and old board members. So much time has passed. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elaine Hebert, and using my experiences as a chemist, an attorney, and a water planner over the past 25 years, and attending these board meetings for the past 10, I try to make my comments useful and informative. I would suggest that you might expand your comment period to 6 minutes, which is what MRGCD has done, because these matters often are pretty complicated, or there are a number of issues to cover. I'd like to start off acknowledging what Carlos has just talked about. Yay team, the usage is down. The water levels are rebounding, but that's not the whole story. Depletions, which are impacted by water levels, are not as down as much as the plan requires them to be at this point. Reclaimed water, which is that which can be utilized if depletions are higher so you can reuse it, is a big part of Water 2120. But that can't be utilized if depletions are high. So my suggestion is to lower those depletions. But you don't know that because you aren't told the difference between groundwater and surface water use. So in addition to Carlos's report of how much water in general has been used, my suggestion is groundwater, surface water, reused water, all of those different sources of supply so that the board has an idea of actually what is happening. Temperature is also a factor in use, and there's nothing in today's report that talks about the fact that it's going to be probably warmer all year, according to the drought report that's put out every month. So in addition to the water use, knowing what the temperature has been, the snowpack is, what the temperature is likely to be, will help the board make certain decisions, such as should they start instituting drought action now, because you take action now to take action to have results in the hot summer months. So in addition to that, I would suggest a special report on what is going to need to be done to reduce pumping. A report back on actually implementing the policies and objectives of Water 2120. How are we going to address that high water usage by some of those people who use 700 gallons of water a day? The operating plan should have targets for depletions, groundwater use, et cetera. And there should be a better metric for GPCD other than just population. It could be disaggregated into specific users and uses. Finally, as Dr. Gutzler has said, climate change really impacts water usage. I would suggest a resiliency plan working with the city and the county, and for now, a resiliency goal with objectives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Geraldine Amaro.
Good evening. Even though this body is called an authority, the fact is this commission has no real authority on how the water in this state is allocated and how it is used. Many people complain that the fracking and the, looking for gas and oil underground is causing pollution, and very little bit is done about that because of the people who are in control. Their bottom line is their profits. Today, we work with a bank credit system. None of us own anything, and neither do these governments. The fact that you would call the citizens of this area customers proves the fact that we're not under lawful order. I even called the city attorney's office, and they reference the citizens as customers of the city attorney office. That is a grand, bizarre statement. If this was a genuine republic, as worshiping the federal flag at the beginning of the meeting dictates, no citizen would be called a customer. And people would not be talking to each other when a member of the public is up here and they're not at least bit interested in what any particular person has to say. I am concerned that if we, the people, don't get sharp and start putting our own minds in gear and understand that we control nothing in this nation today, all our resources have been confiscated. And since many of you are both in the city and the county, I want to ask this question I haven't been able to get from the city attorney's office. Who is it that decides how to implement the trespass ordinance? It has been used against me by the Nob Hill Food Co-op, and they told me to my face, we don't need any excuse or any reason to ban you from the premises. This is private property, and we can ban anyone we want for any reason. Get out, and if you come back, we're going to charge you with criminal trespass. And so when people ask them behind the scenes, why did you ban Geraldine Amato? They add slanderous gossip to top it off. They say because she was shoplifting. How can you prove a negative? That's the rumor or the slander that they're sending around when people inquire, why you, I tell people, I don't go to the co-op because they banned me from the premises and I can get no results from the Albuquerque Police Department's headquarters. The frontline guys are told to do things like in the military. Ask no questions, to do as you're told. And I met one police officer on the front lines, 5550 was his number, and he's a yes man. And he loves the fact that, oh, did you commit criminal trespass? Meaning, did you go back there? I said, oh, what am I going to go back there for? Just so to give them the opportunity to charge me with criminal trespass? No, I want some redress of grievances here. Who is it that can interpret how to implement the trespass ordinance? That does not seem like a lawful implementation of the trespass ordinance. Can anyone answer that question?
Thank you.
Here?
Next,
Apparently, the city attorney said he has nothing to do with it. That I find kind of peculiar.
we are now on item 6, announcements and communications.
Oh, really? Hey, if the handicap door is
Ms.
not unlocked, it was unlocked locked a little while ago for me to get out. Can you have the switch turned on so I can get out of here? Please. I don't know who, some people turn off the switch just for fun or something.
Okay, they're working on that. Thank you. So we are now on item 6, announcements and communication. First announcement is the next scheduled meeting is March 18th, 2020 at 5 p.m. in the Vincent E. Grego Chambers. The next announcement is there are 2 vacancies on the Technical Customer Advisory Committee in the areas of financial, business management, and water system engineering. If board members have nominations, please direct them to the online application on the Water Authority's website at www.abcwua.org. Next item is introduction of legislation. We have item AO21, Stan Alred. And then are they similar? Can you do them together? Because the next one is R23, confirming the execution and delivery of loan subsidy agreement.
Madam Chairman and members of the board, I'll cover both items 7A and 7B.
Okay.
So this is a execution of a loan subsidy agreement with the Mexico Finance Authority. It's for or it's for $2,020,000 with a loan amount of $1,515,000, which will be a 32-year note at 1% interest. And then it will have a $505,000 grant subsidy to this loan. This is for work on Phase 2C of the Carnuel work up in the Carnuel area. The system expansion is guided by the Bernalillo County to Harris Canyon Carnuel Plan, which identifies priority areas for water and wastewater services. So this is just a loan to continue with the work that we've already started in the Carnuel area. And I stand for any questions.
Any questions? No? So then we'll move on to R24, the amendment of the approved capital implementation program. That's you as well, Mr. Alvarez? Is
And
that
Madam
part of the
Chairman,
same?
there's also, I was informed there's a speaker on this ordinance, public speaker for this ordinance.
Oh, there is, okay. Those are on the two, correct?
Made an
Item A
error.
and B?
That should be RO 19-3. O 19-3 is the one I want. Right. Okay.
Madam
Okay,
Chairman,
just for the
there's not
record,
a-
so we're covering A and B under 7, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then now we're on R24.
So, Madam Chairman and members of the board, we have before you is an authorization to amend our capital budget based on the impending loan bond sale that we will have tomorrow morning. There are 4 projects that we'd like to appropriate and add to the CIP plan. One is for $10 million for dewatering at the water treatment plant, $10 million to finish the customer service and operations facility that's being built, $2 million to finish IT projects. We have implemented a work order system for asset management, so it's to complete that, and $8 million to finish work on our clarifiers for odor control. And I stand for any questions.
Are there any questions? No? Thank you for the presentations. For the introduction, sorry. We're now on item D, R25, and this is approving a development agreement for Adijo Apartments. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, pronounce that. But actually, this needs immediate action so that we could put it under approvals, because I guess we had skipped a meeting. So, yeah, so this isn't up yet. So I'm just gonna make a motion to move item R20-5 under approvals this evening. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Now we are on R26, approving development agreement for Pejam Division. And same motion, move it under approvals for immediate action. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 8, consent agenda. So I make a motion for the approval of the consent agenda. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We are now under approvals. Item 9, the first item is O19-3, authorizing the issuance and sale of Albuquerque Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority Senior Lien Joint Water and Sewer System Revenue Bonds. Mr. Eric Harrigan. And it looks like we might be able to listen to item A and B, R1926 as well.
Madam Chair, that is correct. Both of those items regard the same action, but related to the issuance of the proposed bonds.
It looks like we have a speaker, so should we have the speaker first, or would you, Elaine, would you want to just hear his presentation first before we do that?
It's up to you guys.
Oh, okay, we'll hear the presentation first.
But don't vote on it
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the authority. Eric Harrigan with RBC Capital Markets. We're the authority's municipal advisor. So what is before you today is an ordinance and conforming resolution for the issuance of revenue bonds for the projects that are laid out below in the total amount of $86 million. The estimated borrowing rate on the presentation is 2.49%, but we have seen some pretty extraordinary circumstances in the market as of late, and it's really been due to what's been happening with the coronavirus and the spread of that. And the stock market has dropped over 2,000 points in the last few days, and what has happened is investors are rushing towards the safety of bonds, and we've seen almost historical drop in interest rates in both tax-exempt and taxable bonds did touch the all-time historical low ever for the 10-year U.S. Treasuries, and tax-exempt rates have dropped to the all-time historical low for tax-exempt rates. So the authority's timing on this couldn't be better, and in fact, based upon the estimated rates today, we expect the borrowing rate, if rates hold tomorrow at pricing, to be closer to 1.53% for a 13-year borrowing, which is really tremendous. The Water Authority did have bond rating meetings with both Standard & Poor's and Fitch, and maintained their strong bond ratings of AAA, Standard & Poor's, and with Fitch as well. The proceeds are listed below. We'll kind of go over the transaction. This is the repayment schedule. Because of the authority's very rapid declining debt service payments, the authority is able to layer in these bonds with very little impact to the existing debt service that the authority currently pays. And that's one of the reasons that the authority maintains a strong bond ratings, as well as one of the things that I would like to mention as well in talking to Standard & Poor's. They did mention world-class management, top-of-class management for the authority of its peers across the United States. So I think staff is to be congratulated on the excellent job that they have done with the authority. From a timing standpoint, we do plan to be into the market tomorrow morning to price the bonds and to lock in the rates, and then the bonds would be scheduled to close at the beginning of April, and that's when funds would be available for the authority to spend on the projects. I did kind of talk a little bit about the market before, so I'll kind of just touch briefly upon this. Even though that we're seeing these very, very low short-term rates, we're still seeing significant amount of money flowing into municipal bond funds, which is directly correlated to demand for tax-exempt debt. And over the last month and a half, we've seen over $6.4 billion flowing into municipal bond funds. And as you can see, where interest rates have been over the last week, this does not take into account the recent movement that we saw earlier this week. And even last week, when we were not at now where we are, rates last week were 99.97% lower than they've ever been historically, and now are 100% lower than they ever have been historically. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Catherine McKinney with the Module Law Firm is also here to address any question on the documents.
Any questions? Councilor Davis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excuse me. And we were just asking sort of in terms of the Water Authority's in a really good position, thanks to, as you mentioned, staff's sort of forward-looking insight, but not specifically on this item, but does the Water Authority have any other sort of indebtedness that we ought to look at in terms of refinancing sort of during this current period of really great options for us, or are we pretty well positioned from when we've done that in the past?
So that's a great question.
It was Commissioner O'Malley's question. I just.
So unfortunately, back in 2017, when the Tax and Jobs Cut Act was implemented, one of the things that it did is that it did eliminate tax-exempt issuers from advance refunding with tax-exempt debt. Now, that doesn't preclude issuers from issuing taxable bonds to advance refund. And given where even taxable rates have gotten so low, it would probably be worth looking at those, at some of the authorities to refund on a taxable basis. You are paying a higher rate because they're taxable, but you're sort of saying, where will rates be in the future? Where will tax exempt rates be in the future?
That's all too complicated for me, but it's a good answer for, we got to look at it and just take a look at some of the old stuff, so thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, the authority does not have any currently callable debt.
Thank you. No other questions? We'll actually have Eileen come up for public comment.
Well, thank you. Again, my name is Elaine Hibbert, and I'm here to address the CIP amendment, which was read into the record under R 20-4, as well as this bond procedure, because they are related. The borrowing of $30 million is additional to the $56 million that was in the plan just last year. That borrowing of the $30 million includes $10 million for the new the water administration building, which is about to open. But it's not been approved by the board, which is why under C24, there's a motion to approve it next month. So you're borrowing money tomorrow to pay for a project that's already being built. Something seems really wrong with build, borrow, approve. And that's basically how at least that project is being done. That rollover of $55 million last fall added to the $68 million that was the CIP budget that you approved. Now it's another $30 million. So is the CIP budget actually $153 million? It seems pretty high, and it seems pretty high compared to the amount of cash that will be available, since it's supposed to be 50%. So again, the debt right now after the borrowing will be about $820 million. It's pretty high. Think of it, if you're the city, it's a little higher, but the city has 3 times the revenue stream. It's 1/3 the debt for the county, but the county has twice the revenue stream that the utility has. So again, it puts that into perspective. A couple other notable, the borrowing has been higher for the last 4 cycles. The indebtedness is higher than all other combination utilities throughout this region, the nation. And there is an increasing backlog of infrastructure backlog for which the asset management plan is supposed to address, but that's been delayed too. And finally, there are looming physical needs under Water 2120, and are we ready to address those? So my thoughts are, obtain a report as to which specific priority 1 level renewal projects were carried over, from when, and when they will be finished. Ensure that the updated AMP, the asset management plan, is completed, and the proposed projects are in line with the risk evaluations therein. And consider rates that are lowest in the region, and having actually a work group focus on those and not just bringing it to the TCAC. And put an objective to be in the median range of utilities for the debt ratio portion, and establish a position for a Inspector General. Those are my comments, and it's been suggested that I submit those, so I'm going to. Thank you.
Thank you. So, oh, yes, Ms. Nair.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I was just wondering if we wanted to give Director Sanchez an opportunity to respond to any of those numbers or those concerns.
Madam Chair, Board Member Nair, of course. First of all, the project is not an administrative building. It's a consolidation of our field services and our customer services operation. The administration will continue to be housed in this building. That project was approved by this board. As Mr. RBC mentioned earlier, Eric Harrigan, we're AAA rated. Our debt is not out of the realm of typical utilities. What has occurred for us is much of that debt was to bring online the San Juan Chama project, which today is helping us not pump groundwater. It was a good thing. Our 100-year plan is based on continuing the surface water and moving towards reuse water. As Mr. Harrigan mentioned and illustrated, our debt is going to drop dramatically in 2026. That'll give us an opportunity to start financing many of these very expensive reuse projects. So I think a lot of this is already in the works, but it's going to take time to carry it out. And we'd be happy to give you a much more detailed presentation if you'd like.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Any other questions, comments? No? Okay, thank you. So now we're back to O19-3. I move approval. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Item R19-26, I move approval. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We are now on R20-5, approving development agreement for, what's the name of this apartment complex? Adagio Apartments. Mr. Chris Cadena.
Hello, yes, I've been pronouncing it Adagio as well. But Madam Chair, members of the board, I present to you a development agreement for a 52-unit apartment complex located on Universe near Oak Ridge. And the property lies within 4W pressure zone on the west side. And the service is contingent upon the developer extending public water and sewer to the site. And the project will be responsible for paying the utility expansion charges and water supply charges.
Okay, so any questions? Nobody signed up to speak. All those in favor of, there's a motion and a second for R20-5. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. And Mr. Cadena, you're on R20-6, approving another development agreement.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. This development agreement is for a 16-unit subdivision located near Paseo del Norte and Holbrook in the northeast part of town. The property is within the county, but outside the adopted water service area. The property is within 6C pressure zone in the Alameda trunk, and this project is required to extend public water and sewer to serve the site. We'll also pay utility expansion charges and water supply charges.
Okay, there's a motion for approval of R20-6. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you. We are now on C4, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2019 and 2018. Mr. Alred.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, what you have before you is our FY 2019 CAFR. We're required by state statute, to deliver this to the board, the governing body, in the first meeting after it's been approved. We finished the audit in November 25th and sent it to the state. State auditor approved our audit and released it on December 20th of last year. Our EDW was our independent auditor, and basically their opinion says the following: the financial statements referred to above presents fairly in all material respects the financial position of the Water Authority as of June 30th, 2019 and 2018, and the changes in its financial position and cash flows. Therefore, for the years then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. These financials were also presented to the two rating agencies as we were doing our rating presentations, and it basically showed a very good financial picture for the Water Authority. And I stand for any questions.
Are there any questions?
Chair,
No.
approval.
There's a motion and a second for approval of C24. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We are now on C25 FY 2020 second quarter operating financial reports. Mr. Alred.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, this is our second quarter financials. I'll make sure I try to keep up the slides as I'm talking, because sometimes I don't. The first slide is year-to-date operating revenues. So operating revenues in FY20 through the second quarter are above those at FY18 and substantially above FY19. As you can remember, FY19 we were a little behind revenues and what we originally projected. For FY20, we're at or above what we project for revenues. We had a lot of sales in the first 2 months of, or the last 2 months of the calendar year. So we're right at pace in the budget for revenues. The next slide is just a depiction of our operating expenses. The increase for FY20 is primarily due to the increase in the transfer to capital. So based on this board's recommendation, we basically put in ordinance, and every year we increase the transfer from operating to the capital budget by $3 million a year. This reflects that $3 million increase, and we continue to do that each year. So every year we actually, last year we did $58 million we transferred to the capital budget from cash from the operating budget. This next budget cycle will go up to $62 or $61 million. So that's just a reflection of the increase of that transfer. The next slide is just our operating expenses by month. Again, August is always high because that's for chemicals and power for the San Juan Chama plant as we divert water and serve it to customers. This is just a straight line picture, and basically we're spending on a average basis less than what we had budgeted. So we're projecting to be slightly under budget for expenditures by the end of the year. Our days cash on hand. At the end of FY19, we had almost 500 days of cash on hand. July 1st is when we make our debt service payments. So there was a debt service payment made on July 1st, so there was a reduction in FY20. FY20 balances are actually building again, but we have upwards to 400 days of cash on hand at the end of the second quarter. The next slide is year-to-date capital expenses. So two things happen with capital expenses. There's an appropriation that gives us the authority to spend. It gives us also authority to do procurement. And then there's the cash flow aspect of it. Most projects take 2 to 3 years to do. We actually appropriate those, but the cash does get transferred to the capital budget. We do borrow every 2 years to pay for part of the capital budget. So that's $56 million that's in the plan. We did actually add another $20 million to last year's plan for some other projects, which we had discussed earlier. And as projects come up and things we have to do, there's an opportunity in this financing to get a low interest rate. And there was this desire to finish the clarifiers at the wastewater treatment plant for odor control. So we took that opportunity to address that at this point in time. But that's basically why there's a fluctuation in the capital expenses. Those are what we actually spend, and those fluctuate over time as projects are being done. Our debt coverage ratio. So our ratio is 1.33 times for senior debt, and subordinate and super subordinate debt it's 1.2. As you can see, we're hovering right now, FY20 estimated about 2 for our senior lien and about 1.75 for our senior subordinate lien. So we're well within our covenants. We will continue to track and make sure that we're generating sufficient revenues to maintain this coverage. And at this point in time, we have sufficient revenue and we have sufficient cash reserves to continue to maintain the operations of the utility. Water use production, as you can kind of see, in August, September, and kind of dropping down, we've actually used a little bit more water in August and September, and then kind of went back to normal in November and December, and that's kind of what drove up revenues a little bit. But we're kind of sitting right at what we did in FY18. And this is just a different way to look at it. This is actually water consumption. So the first slide was what we actually build, and this is what we actually pumped from the ground, and basically the graphics look basically the same. And I stand for any questions.
Are there any questions, comments? No.
Chair. Mr. Alwood, what would be the concern in terms of, lower revenues? Where would that, I mean, you have a pretty consistent funding source from ratepayers, and so where do you see that as a problem? Or that could be a concern?
Madam Chairman and Commissioner O'Malley, so the way the calculation basically works is we look at the revenue we generate, and then we subtract out operating expenses from it. But we don't subtract out the transfer to capital, and we don't subtract out debt service. So those are the revenues that are left over to pay for debt service. You take those revenues, divide it by the actual debt service, and that's how you get the ratio. Historically, when we created the rate reserve fund, the rating agencies used to let us use fund balance or these reserves as revenue sources in this calculation. About 4 years ago, they stopped allowing municipalities and utilities to use that as a source of revenue. So as expenditures go up and operating expenditures go up, and if your revenue is staying flat, at some point in time, the ratio is going to get smaller, so you're going to have a rate increase to offset that difference. Even though we may have sufficient cash reserves in place to pay for operating expenditures, they really look at in the calculation as the revenues being generated in that particular year from rate revenue. So I'm looking at both trying to manage, we're looking at the utilities line item. The utilities looking at maintaining a level of using that cash to pay for the operating expenditures without having rate increases, and also making sure that we don't have a rate increase too soon. But at some point in time, if operating expenditures continue to rise due to power, chemicals, salaries, and those type of things, at some point in time, we're going to have some kind of semblance of a rate increase to increase that ratio for coverage, because that is what we have to maintain based off of covenants that we have signed in these ordinances and resolutions that's been approved by this board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. I was going to call you Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley. So thank you, Mr. Alred. I motion approval of C 20-5. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.